Okay, we are on the, are we live? Are we on the air? Is it happening? Is this really happening, Boosketeers? Well, welcome to another wonderful night here in the home of Brother Wes and Jeanette. Not Brother Jeanette, is it Miss Jeanette? What is it?
Sister.
Sister Jeanette? That sounds like you're a nun. But anyway, so here we are. We're here once again. And we're gonna be trying a couple different things. But I think we're gonna kind of get right into it and then talk about the why and stuff. So what we're doing tonight is we're gonna be sampling some hopefully fine Don Papa rum. Maybe I don't need any. Which I know nothing about. I've never had, but we're gonna find out. Don Papa small batch. So we're gonna start out by just having a couple shots neat and give it a few sips and get some tasting notes and see what we think. And then we'll move on from there. So let's see what happens. Ooh, it smells nice.
Thank you.
We can always have more.
Oh, I noticed it was a little short.
Yeah, I know it was kind of a light pour, but
Oh, it smells pretty good.
like I said, we can, well, cheers. Yeah, that's like the on the nose. I'm getting butterscotch, honey, almonds, vanilla, toffee, roasted squirrel, old boards. No, I'm kidding. No, it's actually it smells really sweet.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet. Very buttery. It almost smells like what I would expect butterbeer from the Harry Potter to like that smells what I think it would taste like. But let's find out. Wow.
Almost has like a root beer
Yeah,
flavor
that's
to
what I was
it.
gonna say. Wow. Now I see what all the hullabaloo was about. Because you want to, you're sure you don't want at least a sip there. Got to get producer Maggie in on the action.
I see.
That's pretty amazing.
It has a lot of flavor.
It does. It has a lot of flavor. So, it is product of the Philippines. Distilled by Chat Noir, which is the black cat. So, I mean, how can you go wrong there? Let's see here. What can I tell you about it that it says here on the bottle?
What's that sticker?
The sticker it says product of the Philippines distilled by
Okay.
the Chat Noir.
I think that would be
Company.
good in a cider.
I think
now
so
that
too.
I've tasted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
I'm
probably
gonna take
do
my
that.
glasses off. There's all kinds. It's fun. There's all kinds of small print all over this thing. There's some sort of strange beast on there. It looks like either a sad dog or an aardvark.
It's just a person.
No, no, that's. But look at that.
Oh yeah, what's that?
That looks like
It's
there's
like
some
a
kind of
bat.
weird. It's a lemur.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. There's a lemur, and then there's a snail. There's all kinds of critters all over this thing. It's crazy. There's a sea snail and a land snail, and then the guy's eye, his monocle is actually a chameleon. This is crazy. I would buy a bottle of this just so you could look at all the weird stuff going on the bottle whilst you drink it and contemplate the reasoning behind it.
His monocle is made out of something?
It's a chameleon. It's the tail of a chameleon coming down. Yes, Jeanette, I would say pour yourself a glass of cider and add some of this to it because I don't think you'll be disappointed. Wow, that's so now I understand. So CJ and Aaron over the weekend went to Whiskey X in Los Angeles to hang out with Ardbeg Cam and the Ardbeg and Glenmorangie crew. And whilst they were there tasting all the fine whiskeys, they apparently were at the Don Papa booth where they tried some of this rum, and they said it was possibly the best rum they'd ever had. which I was, I was a little dubious because I'm like, well, okay, what does that mean exactly? Best, I mean, strong. Does it mean like, because you never know with all the with the hoogle and the funk and the all these things that some people are like, oh, and it was great. It tasted like bitter burnt eucalyptus, and it's like, no, how is that good? I don't know. But so they said that it was great, and I said, well, which one was it? And they said it was just their regular flagship product. So I looked it up and went out and picked up a bottle, and I'm pretty happy with it.
It's good.
Myself. This is one of the better sipping rums, I think. And it's 40 proof.
I
So
haven't had a lot of like sipping rums,
well, that's the thing is that the flavor profile on this is as complicated as almost anything as far as all the different flavors that are going on in there. I have to look to see if it has. It almost feels like it's flavored with something, But no, it's just
probably flavored with
Aged.
snails and
well,
other
aged
animals.
7 years in
Companions.
American oak barrels before being blended to perfection. So blended. I'm not sure what it's blended with, but yeah, it's just rum. It doesn't say with naturals. It doesn't say natural with natural flavorings or.
Yeah, it's not infused. With
Does not
anything.
appear to be. It tastes like it is. It really tastes like a spice rum, only with like heavy on like vanilla.
Yeah.
It is a truly remarkable product. I may be gushing, but this is like, it's amazing. They were right. They were right. I did listen to them. Wait a minute, never mind. So, there we go. Don Papa Rum. Check it out. Go out and get yourself a bottle. I think you will be even after the way you talked about it, and then then we got some and it wasn't I don't know. I think it would be. I think it's good. This is
You short-shotted me.
I know. Okay. Shoot! I spilled all mine into my mouth.
You want some more?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's like you go wine tasting or even booze tasting, and it's funny because they'll say, oh, and there are hints of this and notes of this, and it's like, oh, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tastes like red wine and a little bit of oak to me. But they're like, you can taste the burnt cinnamon stick and the honey nutmeg blend on Cheerios, and you're like, it just
Yeah,
tastes like red
that's
wine to me,
I have a hard time sometimes picking out all the things that people can pick
Yeah.
out,
Well, it's interesting with scotches, and I think, strange enough, speaking of Glenmorangie, I think that was the first scotch that I did the adding very small amounts of water to, and I don't know if it still used to come a little booklet, and it would tell you, 1 drop of water and you'll notice this, and 2 drops of water, and it's like it would tell you.
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, sure, And I tried it, and it actually was surprisingly like it did bring out the like chocolate and toasted almond and cinnamon and nutmeg and hints of this and hints of that, and it was like. But once again, usually those things are kind of hard to find. Like it's like, well, yeah, okay, well, maybe, yeah, I guess I could see that, Not in this. This is like pretty much straightforward. With all the things that, it's like.
All the things that you said earlier.
And the smell,
It smells really good.
it does. It's got you guys want to smell
I can smell it from here.
it? And it's worth it. I'll tell you.
It smells pretty good.
It doesn't, sometimes I've had ones also where it's like, oh, that smells so good, then you're like, The nose doesn't necessarily match the tongue, as it were. But this does. It's good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's I can now next year when we go to Whiskey X, I can go and say, hey, good stuff, and get some free stuff. Why not? But anyway, and reasonably priced. It's a well, depending on where you go, but you know, it's like $38 a bottle, more or less depending on who's got it and where and how much. And that I mean, it can be more or less depending on how much it costs, which is that happens
I can see that.
sometimes. You never know. You never know with these things, but anyway, yeah. So I wish I could have been. Wish I could have been at Whiskey X and tried this, you know, amongst the hubbub, because I would have been just as pleasantly surprised in retrospect as they were in hindsight, which is double. But so it would have been even more so, but at a different time. And then we'd have come forward to now, and we'd still drink it. I would anyway. Yeah, and I usually don't. I don't drink a lot of. I mean, well, scotches. But yeah, there's not a lot of rums that I just drink, just straight up. And this is almost. I mean, the amount of flavor. It's almost liqueur like. It's like a cordial or something. It's interesting.
What's the alcohol content?
Well, I'm glad you asked. 40. It's 40%, which makes it 80 proof. Which that's what I was looking for. I was like, oh, is this gonna be one of those things I'm gonna look at and be like, oh, it's 28 proof, you know, and the rest is vanilla. You know. Nope. But yeah, 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. Bleeding Heart Rum Company. It's this thing's like a Chipotle menu with all the stuff all over it. There's like all these small, so it's small batch. It says.
Some beetles on there.
Yeah, there's beetles up in there. There's like crests. I mean, like I said, it's all kinds of fun just looking at all the weird stuff. Don Papa Rum. Bleeding Heart Rum Company. I wonder how long they've been around. Does it say? Well, at least 7 years old, because that's how long they age it. So. Still blah blah blah. Imported from the Philippines to Miami. Yeah, there's no. Doesn't say anything about how long they've been around. A lot of times, I'm sorry that I didn't do my homework. I normally will do my homework and find out about the distillery and how long they've been around and who owns them and where they come from and how long they've been doing all this stuff. But instead, we just bought a bottle and dug right in just to see. And I'm pleasantly surprised.
It's good stuff.
It is. This is amazingly so. Jeanette, did you want some? For your-
I'm heating up some cider.
Oh, Jeanette's gonna try some of hers in cider and see what happens. We're gonna actually try ours and I'm thinking this will probably work pretty well. It may end up being a little on the sweet side for what evil purposes we have in mind. But I don't know. I've had bourbons that were close to this, but not quite this flavorful.
I've never had a bourbon that's anything like that.
This? No. I've had some where you could definitely taste the vanilla and the oak and
Yeah, but they weren't good.
the brown sugar and all the different things. Yeah,
I've had
but,
those too, but they weren't good.
Which I've had. I just got some recently, and I was a little disappointed because it was overly flavorful. It was a bourbon that at first I was excited because it was 94 proof, but it was brown sugar bourbon. Is what it said. And I assumed that just meant that it was somehow had that was just how it ended up tasting from the caramelizing of the esters in the barrel when they burn it out or whatever. But no, it turned out they just actually add brown sugar to it. So it was a little. It was not bad, but it was a little. I don't know if you ever you go to like a craft store and they have maple pecan scented pine cones.
Oh yeah.
It tasted like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was a little on the. I don't know. I didn't. it wasn't that it was bad. It just wasn't good.
It was fake. Is that what you're trying to
Yeah,
say?
it was. It didn't taste natural to me. It tasted like someone went, "Hey, you want some bourbon with brown sugar in it?" You know. And yeah, it was kind of a weird flavor. Not that I didn't drink it, because, you know. But it didn't work. It did not work for a whiskey sour. I will tell you that. It was the brown sugar was definitely the wrong sweet profile
Oh,
for a whiskey sour.
I could see that.
Yeah, it was a brown sugar and lemon juice. Just didn't quite. Maybe if there'd have been, maybe if it had that and then some maybe some cinnamon and stuff, it could have gone to like the direction of like a mulled wine where you have citrus and spices and sweet, but just on the rocks as a whiskey sour was not the right way to go. Probably would have been really good like cooked if you cooked bacon in it. For the bacon,
Yeah, it would be like a breakfast.
yeah, you'd make bacon and then pour that in it, and then reduce it, and use that as a gravy for biscuits and gravy.
You could make a little still over it and
That's
then
true.
just keep going.
You could distill it and have bacon flavored brown sugar bourbon
Yeah.
that was actually stronger because it would be greasy a little bit. Maybe. Depending on the
Okay.
scale. These are things that we're going to have to work on, and if we don't, someone should, and report back. Build the breakfast bacon still, and make us a breakfast cocktail. Tell us how it is. Mm-mm-mm. Remarkable, and I'm remarking about it. So, should we move on? See what happens? Are you?
Yeah,
Your glass is empty, but we can refill it with something else. So we'll see what happens. So, as we may have mentioned in the last week's episode, Brother Wes, his go-to cocktail is the Manhattan. And he makes a very, very fine Manhattan. Normally utilizing Bullet. Is that your current go-to?
Yeah, Bullet Rye.
Bullet Rye. But we thought, you know, we tried rum Manhattans using Cruisin', which is a fairly neutral rum, so it's very good, but it's tastes like rum. It's rum flavored rum, which. But we thought, well, I don't think I've done it on the show. Maybe I did, and I don't remember. Did I ever do rum Manhattans? I don't know. Somebody's gonna.
No.
The Uber fan is gonna say, well, yes, you did on episode number such and such. You know, I don't know. I've had them. I've made rum Manhattans for my nightly cocktail a few times, but strangely, it was usually because I didn't have any bourbon. I didn't make them it was like a point to make them.
You were just desperate.
I was just doing, yeah. I was just like, well, when you want a Manhattan, you know, next best thing. So, but I was usually using. There's a rum that we have. It's pretty. I don't know, bourbony. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you would call it, but it's definitely not sweet. It's a pretty good dark rum. It's aged, so it's got a little bit of that, you know, flavor going on. But anyway, yeah. So I usually did that, just more of a, well, I'll just do this because it's what I have. But tonight we decided to be intentional about this whole thing and make some rum Manhattans using the fine Don Papa rum and see what we think. So either you can mix them or I can mix them under your guidance. Did our ice melt?
There's a lot of water in here.
Uh-oh. Do we need to re-ice?
Oh, you're right back.
All right. Well, while he's going to go do that up, like I said, I've enjoyed many a fine Manhattan here in the domicile. Never been disappointed, so that's why I figured I'd let him at the very least guide the steps in making these fine Manhattans, which we did look it up. And yeah, rum Manhattan is just called rum Manhattan. It doesn't have another name that we're aware of. You hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of success. Right there. if any of you Boozeketeers know a name for a rum Manhattan that is something other than a rum Manhattan, if it's called, like, we were talking about last time with the we drank the martinis and the Gibsons, which Gibson's just a martini with the onion. So maybe there's a name for, maybe there's, or it's
yeah,
a
sure
such
there
and
is.
such. It's a Santiago Manhattan, or
Do
we
you want to
find
do
out. No, you go ahead. I'll call out. So according to legend, Wes's handed down recipe is 2-to-1. Using fine booze and more fine booze, he mixes them together in a shaker, unbeknownst. That's true. No, we know because we're watching him. We're seeing it happen. So he's going 2-to-1, using from what looks to here, looks like, yes it is, a 1 ounce to 3/4 ounce jigger.
I don't know.
Oh.
One side's bigger than the other.
See, people, not
And I
everybody
use
knows
the big
that.
side.
Always good. Always use the big side, unless it calls for specific ounces. Yeah, we did the whole part of a show about that. That jiggers are not the same. Jiggers range everywhere from, standard one was 1 ounce, 1/2 ounce, but there's 2 ounce, 3/4 ounce. There's 2.5 ounce, 1 ounce. They're like, you never know. They're like I tried looking up the history of it, like, well, where did this come from? A jigger, and apparently it means measure. So there was a jigger, was, well, 1 jigger, so that's, and you use that same thing and go, well, half of that. So,
Is there a preferred way of shaking?
for a Manhattan, Foxtrot maybe, I don't know.
I
always- You just,
what I
go
usually
with
do is just shake it vigorously.
vigorously. Oh. Sounded like it was calling your name. Tonight's beverage is being served out of fine Trader Vic's Tiki Stem cocktail glasses. Available at a fine Trader Vic's near you, or online. We are neither endorsed by nor supplied by Trader Vic's, but we'd like to be. So if you're from Trader Vic's, please send us a lot of rum and glassware. Oh, and don't forget the garnish. I'm gonna form a cocktail religion. Instead of the Rajneesh, it'll be the Garnish. I'll be the Bhagwan Garnish. So we're using the Carpano Antica vermouth, which is a very fine sweet vermouth, which I was actually, I think, I know you've been using it for a while, and then I noticed when we were in Bakersfield, they call it, I think, a Black Manhattan there, and it's a small batch bourbon that's very dark, and they do it over an ice sphere. They scorch they use the orange, they light the orange peel on fire, blow fire in your drink, and all sorts of business.
Yeah, I've tried the Black Manhattan somewhere.
I wonder if it's the same recipe.
Could be.
I don't know. All right, well, here we go. Let's see what happens.
I can just smell the rum.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's almost like an old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
It's that rum has. It's funny because the rum, like I said, it's sweet, but it's not sugar sweet. It's a weird, like it tastes sweet, but doesn't have, I don't know, hard to explain. But yeah, this almost tastes like a drink that I used to make that I called the Mad Fashion, which was a hybrid between an old fashioned and a Manhattan. And but wow,
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it better than that other rum we tried.
the cruisin'. Yeah, it's funny because this brings out the like I want to say there's like cherry and there's orange and there's like a bunch of other flavors that I think are probably part of the sweet vermouth, maybe. I don't know. It's wacky. It's wacky. It's strange. It's unexplainable, but not unattainable, because you can get these fine ingredients yourself. Whip yourself up the rum Manhattan, 2 to 1, pretty simple. Then I know bitters. Was it a heavy pour or is it or not pour? Heavy.
Since there was like 2 of us, so I'm used to making a little more than these little tiny glasses.
Yeah.
So I usually do two kind of whatever it's called, 2 squirts.
Shakes. Yeah, bitters. You never know. I used to think, too much bitters ruins things. Then I started drinking the Angoladas at Trader Sam's, which have a half an ounce of bitters. Which, for the longest time, people were finding the recipe, and everybody's like, "No, that's wrong. That's wrong. No one use a drop." I was like, "Nope." Turns out.
I don't think I've had that before.
Oh, the Angolada.
Because that sounds like a lot of bitters.
It is. It is, but it's good. It's rum, bitters, and the rum they use is the Smith and Cross. So it's the
Okay.
Navy strength. I think it's 120 proof, something like that. But you're still.
Oh,
You're sipping.
yeah,
I'm
sorry.
like, I gotta go. Don't be sorry. It's fit for
You
me.
have the rest of it.
Well, that's mighty fine, I have to say.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's, so I would say the other one was using the Cruisin', and I'm not saying anything bad about Cruisin', so it's fine rum. But I would say the other one is a good substitute if you don't have bourbon. I would say this is almost a drink on its own because of how flavorful it is. It's completely different experience. I know you probably don't want to try it. I could see myself drinking these if I had a mirror, because I'll have to watch the show to actually see myself drinking.
What if you had a mirror in front of you while you were watching the show?
What? No, all I can see is the orange lights behind me. I mean, I can block them out. Aaron used to talk about wanting to make a pair of glasses with mirrors so you could look into your own eyes. But not like a mirror, but like so one eye looked into the other eye.
Oh, yeah.
So that you would see yourself looking at yourself, but it wouldn't just be like looking in the mirror, because in the mirror you gotta like look back and forth, but it would just be like looking into your own eye, but that eye's also looking at your own. It's like wondering if I could do some sort of like ocular
Cause some
feedback.
sort of-
Yeah, cause a loop. And weirdly enough, I remember reading a story about that where a guy did that, and he went like it took him places that didn't necessarily want to go. But speaking of going, so there you go, Boozketeers. Another fine night of fine drinks. And I am pleased with the results. Pleased with the results. Don Papa Rum, go out and grab yourself a bottle. Like I said, it's not expensive. It's not cheap. It's not expensive. And try it straight out of the bottle. Just pour yourself a glass, sip on it for a while. If you want to go further, like I said, try it in a Manhattan. I mean, it would probably make. I don't know how it would do with like a daiquiri or some of the other classic rum drinks, because it is on the. It has a flavor profile that I'm not sure would quite go that way. I don't know. It might be fantastic. I might have to try it again on another show.
You can make me a painkiller out of one of those.
That would actually be probably
Yeah.
really good.
idea.
Yeah, because
I can taste
with
it
the
already.
painkiller, you got the yeah. So yeah, try it in your favorite painkiller. You can substitute pussers, and it'll give you a whole new ocular feedback to enjoy until you go slowly insane And then,
Whole new world.
yeah, a whole new world. So there you go, Boozeketeers. Until next week, I'm Tiki King. You're the Boozeketeers. This is Brother Wes and Sister Jeanette, who's patiently waiting for her shot of rum to go into her cider. So we better wrap this thing up so she can start boozing it up with us. Good night and good drinking.